Hello and welcome to the Kosh Podcast. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and the Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who have had an association with Oshkosh or the surrounding Fox Valley area. As usual, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all y'all. I'm super excited. Well, you know what? I'm super excited every week. I love doing these podcasts, and I love having amazing guests on the Kosh. And this week, we have Zach Zabel. Zach, how you doing over there?
I'm good. I'm good.
You good?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you want to just jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, Zach, can you please share a little something about yourself and what is your connection to the Kosh?
So my name is Zach Zabel. I am the Community Engagement Manager for Fox Valley Veterans Council. For those of you who don't know what that is a veteran nonprofit, registered 501c3. We currently have our office in Appleton, but we serve veterans from Oshkosh all the way up to southern Brown County and even out to Waupaca County.
That's a big reach.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, been around a long time. I'm a little bit new to the role, but the organization is very established. So, as far as Oshkosh connection, lived in Oshkosh since I separated active duty in 2013.
Okay, what branch were you?
I was active duty Navy for 6 years. I know. you Army folks.
Hey,
bruh.
What do you?
Bruh.
Look, yes, there's a lot of us Army folk.
Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah, so my wife is from Oshkosh. Wanted to go to business school, and UW Oshkosh has a great business program, so everything kind of fell into place. So that's how I ended up here.
Okay. Let me ask you a little something. What did you? Can I ask what did you do while you were in the Navy?
I was an electronics technician. So it's just generic tech stuff. I didn't get anything too heavy. Some ET, some IT.
I don't know what that means.
This tech setup, I think you know a little bit.
Yes. Fair. I'm just a big nerd, man. Yeah. I'm just a big nerd.
But no. So I mean, everything from personal computers on the ship, to some fancier classified networks, but it's nothing too exciting, nothing they'll make a movie about.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, first of all, I'm going to say what everybody traditionally does say, because it is the correct thing to say. Thank you for your service there.
You too, man. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you. And I got one more question. So you talked a little bit about the Fox Valley Veterans Council. Mm-hmm. What does, now, me personally, I know about them, but I don't know a lot about them, but I know they do amazing things. So what is some of the things that that council does for veterans?
So the primary mission of the Fox Valley Veterans Council is to provide direct support to veterans for basic needs. Those generally fall under two categories of housing and food.
That's basic.
That's and that's when we say basic needs, we really do mean that. We do get requests that fall out of our scope, but that plays into our second mission. We actually, as a council, have a official designation from the VA as a CVEB, a Community Veterans Engagement Board.
Okay.
And that role, part of that mission is to serve as a hub for those needs or assistance to veterans that fall outside our direct support scope.
Okay.
So it's all about community partners and kind of helping direct folks to where they need to go.
What it's really about is about helping these veterans. So I appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. You ready to jump into the first segment?
Let's go.
Okay, first segment is what in the world is going on with? And so you start off with that phrase and then you share whatever you got going on.
Well, as everybody knows, daylight savings is started last night. And not a fan. Not a fan.
Why?
It doesn't serve a purpose. It does not serve a purpose whatsoever.
Bruh.
At all. I've been in some rather, I wouldn't say heated debates because everybody's always on the same side. You know, I've never met anybody who's real gung-ho and happy about daylight savings.
You know, the only thing I'm happy about is that in the summer that the day lasts longer. That's it.
Does it though? Does the day last longer, or is it just different numbers on your clock?
It's just different numbers on my clock.
Okay.
All right, I get that. But it feels like it. Sometimes it just feels like it.
Well, you know, I'm not the feelings guy. I'm the logic guy. You know me.
Zach has no feelings.
Bruh.
All right. That's fair. The thing I don't like about daylight savings is, look, I used to like it when I was young, when daylight savings happened in the fall, winter time, and you got an extra hour, because that would mean that you got to kick it one extra hour that night.
Yeah. Well, an hour when you're 12 feels like a week. You know, there's that. It's the greatest thing. And then as an adult, you're like, we don't need this.
Yeah, correct. I can't even argue with you about that.
It ain't real.
It ain't real. You said it's a mind shift. It's like the Matrix. All right. My what in the world is going on with getting old? Like, I'm gonna be real with y'all. So when I was young, I felt good. Like, good. And I mean, when I say young, I mean everything about 42 and younger. Like,
Wow. All right.
Oh yeah, I got a span. Like, the body felt good.
Till 42?
At least, because when I was 42, I still thought I was in my 29.
Oh, well,
You know, the body didn't hurt. There was no aches and pains.
I must be on an accelerated program.
You might be on the accelerated program.
Bruh.
So, you know, but now I'm not going to lie. On any given night, I swear, I could sleep perfectly sound, and I might decide at some point in the night to put my arm up, like put the arm up, stretch it out, whatever, and then I wake up and there's this shooting kink running through my back, my shoulder, my whatever, and it's unacceptable. I'm mad at my body for betraying me. Why can't you just feel young like you used to? I'm not feeling this getting old thing.
You're making me feel real bad right now.
Look, wow, you already there?
Yeah, I'm 32, and I pulled my back this morning picking up my kid.
Bruh.
Bruh.
But because I'm 32, I was able to have my wife walk on my back, you know, stretch it out a bit, and, you know, here we are a couple hours later, and I'm not still hurting. So,
Wait, you sure that's just not a veteran thing? That could just be
that's possible.
That could be a vet thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep on a rock.
Yeah. Look, there's been some of that. Everybody done slept on some things that they didn't really want to sleep on, but you were so tired that you had to, like, sleep is sleep sometimes.
Yeah, sleep is sleep. I think that should be the real military motto. Hey, sleep is sleep.
Sleep is sleep.
I once fell asleep on a pallet of cans.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I passed out. It was during underway replenishment on the ship.
All right.
And for whatever reason, there was a massive delay in the middle of it. It's only supposed to take a few hours, and you know we were into like hour 5, and I had just knocked out on these pallet of cans.
Just passed out.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's probably the best sleep I had, you know, in like a 12-month period.
Bruh.
So I don't know what it was. You know, the stars aligned, and it was a good nap.
It was a good nap. All right. Hey, I can relate. Okay, you ready to jump into the next segment? Because apparently we already done figured out that we both are getting old.
Yeah.
All right, next segment is word phrase association. So I throw some words out there, and you tell us what comes on your mind. All right, so the first word is food.
Yes, please.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I like food.
Me too.
I blame my mom's good cooking.
Is that what it is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to mom.
Just shout out to mom. All right. Is there anything in particular in the food category that mom made? What is the favorite dish? So if mom listens to this, she knows.
She knows. Growing up, it was all about the hot dish, just the generic, German family goulash where you put noodles and protein and veggies and you just put it all together and you just call it hot dish.
Hot dish.
It's just
You
hot dish.
So you only look. No description.
Nope. You
Don't
know
even
what's
matter
in
what the
it.
protein
It doesn't
is.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Well, growing up, I grew up way up northern part of the state. So
Did you say north?
all the way up north?
No, north.
Yeah. So venison was the usual.
Okay.
That was what I grew up on was venison and usually venison inspired hot dish.
Okay.
That was what was up.
I'm not gonna lie. I am intrigued by something called hot dish.
It's just, hey ma, what's for dinner? It's hot dish.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's it.
That's it. All right. Look, I'm gonna agree with you on this whole venison thing right now. I've been lucky enough. I don't get out there because I'm not gonna sit in no cold and shoot nothing. I'm not about that life.
Just bow hunt.
Nah, man.
It's warmer during bow season.
I don't look. Am I sitting outside?
Well, you can build a stand.
No, that's outside too.
Well,
Last time I checked,
you
I
put up
can't-
enough walls, you are now inside.
Last time I checked, I can't shoot no deer inside.
So, are we inside right now doing this podcast?
We are, and
Because of the walls and the ceiling, right?
yep.
All right, so you just put walls and ceiling out in the woods, and you're inside.
See, that's the other problem. You know what that problem is? Woods. Not going to those either.
You afraid of trees or what?
Hey, just saying, man. Me in the woods, me in the sticks. I'm not getting down like that. Sooner or later, maybe. If the right situation comes along. But right now, I've got enough friends who enjoy hunting.
Oh, they're sharing the wealth.
Well, what they'll do is they'll just, because they shoot so much that they just be like, here's a deer, you can pay to get it processed. I'm like, I'm all about that life.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give my in-laws, there's some in-laws out there who done hooked me up. Got love for y'all, and that chili is still coming, promise you.
So a little bit of edumacation here about how we roll north of Highway 8 up here in Wisconsin.
Uh-oh.
I grew up that my parents processed our own deer.
What?
Bruh.
So we went hunting. You harvest the animal. You field dress it. For everybody who doesn't know what field dress is.
Yeah, that you saw the look on
do,
my
yeah.
face because I was just like, nah.
So trying to not be graphic about a very graphic thing, you remove everything you don't want to take home with you.
Okay.
So everything that is not edible, primarily the digestive system of the animal,
All right.
you remove that and you leave it in a so-called steaming pile in the winter woods.
Yeah, well.
And it's a benefit because there's a lot of scavenger critters that they clean that up in a couple days.
All right.
Because in the middle of a Wisconsin winter, that's a lot of nutrition just sitting there waiting to be had. So coyotes, now that the wolves, all the wolf stuff going on, the wolves will find that immediately.
Yeah, that's a thing right now.
Yeah.
This whole hunting wolves and
Yeah. So yeah, that's what field dressing is you just get everything out that you don't want to take home with you. Throw the deer in the back of the truck, go home, and you string up the deer in your garage. It's 10 degrees, so you ain't got to worry about the meat going bad. So it's just hanging outdoors. You let it cool off,
right.
and then you got to skin it. So that's a whole process. Dad's out there removing the hide, and then once the hide's gone, you quarter it, and so one leg at a time. Usually you want to remove kind of, deer have a similar number of joints, generally speaking. So kind of the knee below, there's no meat on that part of the leg. So the knee down, that part is just left in the garage. That goes the final disposal at the end of the process. That goes in that pile, and then the whole hip area comes into the house. and that's where mom goes to work. With the delicate precision of, getting rid of all the sinew and little bits that you can't turn into a delicious hot dish. So
that's fair, man. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. Just listening to you talk about it just reaffirmed my decisions in life. That I'm just gonna go ahead and let the professionals do professional things for the venison that I do love, because I do love venison, and I'm just gonna let them go on and do that in the garage, and then just look. I'll pay you. Just hook timber up.
Well, a lot of folks just take the deer right to, a lot of places just take the whole animal.
Well, that's what deer that I was blessed with this past hunting season. Yeah, we just took it to Beck's. Shout out to Beck's.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something, Beck's, it was delicious.
I will back up that shout out to Beck's. We haven't really gotten to, the veteran community and stuff that, my nonprofit experience. Beck's is a great supporter veteran causes in the area. So double shout out to Bex.
Double shout out to Bex. I appreciate that. Okay. You ready for the next word?
Let's go.
Cocktail/beer.
Yes, please.
Oh.
Bruh.
I'm with you. Is there a preference?
Whiskey.
Oh. Is there a preference in that?
No.
No.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I use the word preference. There's a hierarchy, but it changes. So right now, I'm on a Scotch kick right now.
I've been there.
Yeah, I was on a bourbon kick for like a decade.
At the point in which it's a decade, is that really a kick?
It wasn't until it's Scotch now.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It was what it was, but now it's changed. And I'm very picky about Scotch. So I would say that bourbon's still my number one, just because there is a plethora of bourbon I enjoy.
Okay.
Where the Scotch that I enjoy typically has a very similar profile to bourbon, where most Scotch does not have a similar profile to bourbon.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, so I would, with the caveat that the Scotch I enjoy could be mistaken for bourbon. So Glenlivet is specifically a bourbon or a Scotch that I enjoy that essentially has bourbon qualities.
I done got down with Glenn. Me and Glenn done hung out.
Well, it's Scotch. They're all Glens.
Look, I'm going to tell you, the one I used to, now I've gone through several phases, what I call them lifestyle changes, because, at a certain point in which you've decided to drink something for more than 5 years, that has become a lifestyle.
Right.
I went through a martini lifestyle. I've definitely gone through.
That's vodka or gin, right?
Yes. But me and gin, we ain't friends.
I got a gin story.
Oh, we can talk about that.
So just a little bit of foreign travel wisdom. We had a port visit in Brazil, and I was in the mood for a brewski because we had been underway. Actually, that was right after the humanitarian support we were doing in Haiti after the earthquake in 2010.
Okay.
So that weather was not my weather, being from Wisconsin also.
Just that Haiti weather?
Yeah. I figured, it's January. It's fine. It wasn't.
Oh, no. Did it smoke you out, man?
Yeah. It was raining in the passageways of the ship because all the condensation from the humidity.
That's hot.
It was obnoxious. Like we had to swab the deck on the hour.
Okay.
They called it over. But anyway, so going through all that, and glad we were able to lend a hand. It was a pretty devastating incident. But I was ready to not be there anymore, to be honest with you. And the next port visit we had after that was in Rio de Janeiro. And
Rio.
Yeah. And
look, that's somewhere I want to go.
So I was Rio is a really interesting place. And I would recommend anybody travel. If you haven't been out of Wisconsin, you definitely got to travel.
Right.
But just Brazilian culture in general, it's like fitness there is as common as potato chips here. Like it's just insane. Going through, on the strip there, all the three major beaches. I think it's like Ipanema and Copacabana, and there's another one I forget. But they've got almost an acre deep park along. So you got beach and then you got park before you even got to the road. And that is packed full of people.
Just
9 a.m. just jogging, push-ups, yoga. Doesn't matter what they're doing. Everybody is doing.
Well, I mean, everybody's sitting on that beach. You can't look sad on the beach.
Right. But anyway, so we made a port visit, and I needed a brewski, because the Navy decided a long time ago that giving sailors alcohol while we're at sea is a bad idea.
Bruh.
So I was ready for a brewski, and we get to this decent restaurant in Rio, and the entire menu's in Portuguese. And spoiler alert, I don't speak Portuguese or read it. So
I you know what? I might have guessed that.
yeah. So So I recommend everybody travel. If you want to do it better than me, take a class first. But so I'm looking at this, Portuguese menu, and I've seen enough, different languages where you can kind of pick out, the letters and, characters of a different language. And I see something in German.
Okay.
And it's the only German thing on the menu, and it's under their beverage, because you can because I know Sol and, Cerveza and, the different types of categories and specific brands. So I'm like, oh, well, obviously something German under the drink menu is going to be a German beer. And it wasn't. It was not. So it was a German gin that had the consistency of like maple syrup.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
And they didn't, and because you can mix it, there's stuff you can do with gin, and apparently this gin is like fancy gin. You're supposed to shoot or something. I don't know. They poured it in a shot glass, and I was disappointed because I wanted a beer. It didn't go well.
Didn't go well?
Yeah, it did not go well.
And it didn't end well then either.
I mean, it was just because it was so thick, it got caught in my throat, and I'm sitting here choking like I'd never done a shot before. And you're surrounded by a bunch of other sailors that they're all...
Oh, that just sounds like, you're getting ribbed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, ribbed is a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, because look, you stuck, too. You stuck on the ship with them. They ain't never letting you live that
Yeah, that
down.
doesn't go away. That's not... It's a, hey, remember that time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but yeah, so cocktail, beer, word phrase association, whiskey.
Respect. All right. Ready for the next one? Netflix.
Pandemic survival kit.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
It definitely served its purposes.
Yeah. Definitely watched a lot of Netflix. In the past 12 months, more than usual.
More than usual.
Oh yeah.
All right. What particularly? What did you watch?
Well, March last year, we were all rather isolated, because it was full on shutdown. Needed services only type deal.
Right.
My son was born March 4th of last year.
Okay.
And so my wife was on maternity leave. I had recently got a work from home job before it was cool. And yeah. Right. So as far as that, going into the shutdown, we actually weathered it really well because we were all home anyway.
Okay.
And then the daycare got shut down. So, my daughter was home. So it was just the four of us at home every day.
Whoa.
For 3 months.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of close family time.
It is. So we kind of had our different ways, of, giving each other space.
Right. Separating it out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, definitely watched a lot of Netflix during those 3 months, particularly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Amazon.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's not a comment. I think Jeff Bezos, his personal choices, or, whatever you think of him, on a human level, just purely from a business standpoint, you can't help but marvel at what he accomplished.
Yeah. Somebody need it was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
With the internet.
Yep.
And he just happened to
he figured it out.
Yeah, he just happened to figure it out.
But it was really interesting because I remember when Amazon was new.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and it was just kind of, you keep hearing about this thing. It was, Amazon. You just hear about it little bits and pieces everywhere. And it was just really, really interesting how they were just dedicated to reinvesting in what they were doing.
Yes.
Because he could have took the foot off the gas 10 years ago, and he'd still be wealthy. He wouldn't be where he is now, obnoxiously wealthy. But,
you mean like world richest man wealthy?
right. But he had a vision, and he's like, no, this is what we're doing. And when he could have been cashing out, living the high life, he was building more warehouses and reinvesting in his logistics and, getting more, delivery processes, getting the kinks out. And it's very impressive.
I would agree.
Again, outside of anybody's opinion of him personally, and, because everybody likes to rag on rich people.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. So just from a purely business standpoint, very impressed.
Fair. Okay. Kids.
Tired. Oh yeah, I got 2 kids. My daughter will be 3 in June. My son just turned 1.
Oh, bruh, you beyond tired.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. You getting your butt kicked.
A little bit. They don't lack energy. I'll say that much.
Oh no, they're literally human energizer bunnies. Like they ever. And if they do run out of energy, it's never when you need them to.
Mm-hmm. But when they get tired, they suddenly find another level of energy. Like it's some sort of weird paradox that it's like, oh, why are they being so crazy? Oh, they're just tired. It's like when I'm tired, I lay down and I'm quiet. Like what?
Bruh.
I don't understand. It's just it's a very paradoxical.
Well, you know what it is when that happens, they're taking the rest of the energy you got. That's where it comes from. They somehow because their blood, they're able to tune into that little bit, just that little energy you were saving, so you could take a nap.
Just wireless energy leeches.
Yes, kids, man.
Kids.
I'm gonna tell you that there's something to look forward to. It's called empty nesting. You get to that point in your life, that is wonderfully grown folk. Love my girl with all my heart. She is the greatest thing I've ever done. But make no mistake, when they grow up and they get to the point of adulting, and you get back to adulting.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. It is joyous.
I support that message.
Oh, well, I just wanted to give you something to look forward to.
I like it.
All right. Last word. Veterans.
Camaraderie.
Facts.
It's kind of nice. Like I said, I'm new to my position at the council. I've been involved with, the veteran nonprofit space for a long time. But now to do it, have it be my occupation and be able to give it my full attention. Yeah. It's even more rewarding than it was before. So big fan.
Yeah, I give you credit, man. You've I've worked with Zach on several events in the past. Huge supporter, always found a way, always made time, always made amazing things happen. Took money out of his own pocket to help fund different things. So, I appreciate you.
Well, shout out to Timber too. Got the pretty sweet coffee mess there at UW Oshkosh. That didn't just happen.
That free coffee thing, man. It's amazing how many vets, because you know what, vets are caffeine fiends. If y'all don't know nothing about them, look, you can make them show up. You got some caffeine, they will find that like a dog to a steak.
Yeah.
So offering free coffee, which is sponsored by various organizations throughout all our veteran service organizations. Shout outs to the VFWs, the American Legions, the AMVETS, everybody else who done looked out. That coffee makes us get together.
Yeah, it brings people together.
It brings vets together if don't do nothing else. And you know what? And all the other coffee fiends too, because we just look. It ain't like we kicking you out just because you got a coffee problem. You come on. All right, beautiful. All right, next segment is the Naughty/Heroes Corner. So you get to choose. It be a person, organization, whatever you like it to be, whichever corner you want to put them in, and share with us what your thoughts behind that is.
I kind of have a. Can I go high level?
You can go. Hey, look, this is your show.
So I would like to do for the Heroes Corner. I would like to offer a high level, just individual donors. And it doesn't have to be veteran nonprofits, just individual donors. A lot of nonprofit activities. You got the big check writers. That some of those people are individual donors. There's a lot of foundations in the area. Usually some sort of memorial format. That there was somebody who did good work, and the family wants to honor their legacy by supporting causes similar to what their life's work was. But individual donors who, $5 here, $10 there.
It makes a difference.
Whenever they're available, they have that generosity in their heart, and they just, they want to do their part. It's underrated is the word I would use. Because, people, they see, multi-million-dollar projects, all this, big, fancy stuff going on, and you're thinking my $5 is not gonna, put bread on the plate. But it does, and it really does, because when you do that, and 10,000 of your closest family and friends do that, it makes an impact.
It does. I can't stress that enough. Exactly what you're talking about. That is actually how we fund a ton of things, and you're right. It doesn't have to. It's not about these large dollar amounts. It's whatever you decide to give. And mad shout out to all those individuals out there who just support our military and our veterans. We appreciate y'all on so many levels.
Much love.
Much love. All right. So we're going to jump into the topic of the week. All right. And topic of the week is chosen by the guest. So Zach, this was Zach's topic of the week, and he chose profit versus nonprofit. So Zach, what do you mean by that exactly?
So this all kind of came about. I recently, through my professional network, was directed towards a TED Talk that addressed the double standard in our society, for-profit businesses and nonprofit organizations, particularly around how dollars are spent. And initially, when I heard about it, I wasn't overly interested. I was just, mildly curious. Watched it. I believe it's, you can find it on, whatever streaming service. It's about 20 minutes long. The individual given the presentation is extremely knowledgeable, a professional in that space. And essentially, it addresses this idea where, we were just talking about Amazon.
Right.
How much money did Amazon make and then reinvest in their scaling?
Okay.
They didn't go out and just, buy a truck or buy a warehouse.
Right.
That truck and warehouse made money, and then that money was used to buy more trucks and warehouses.
Right.
And everybody applauds Amazon for that. There's no, nobody's making Jeff Bezos, 10 years ago criticizing him for scaling.
No.
At all.
No one's knocking him for making this basically
where he is now,
$1 billion juggernaut.
Yep. So, however, you take that same time frame, how many stories did you hear about in the news or gossip or, however you found out about it, where there was a nonprofit who was paying a CEO a whole bunch of money or paying, reinvesting in process or scaling? You know, how many times have you heard, oh, well, don't give them money. They just spend it on staff, or they just spend it on advertising, or they just spend it, you know, because everybody wants to get their dollar.
You actually hear that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's something to that. Like something about when you say the word nonprofit, it makes people feel like the people that run that organization should be working for free.
Exactly. So it should be volunteers, and every dollar I give should go to whatever cause your organization's, you know, tied to.
Right.
So if I give $1 for veterans, I want my dollar to go to veterans. I don't want it to go to some person.
Right.
And that's just kind of how we've approached nonprofit, from my understanding, forever.
Yeah.
And this TED Talk talked about, you know, we wouldn't have Amazon, we wouldn't have Walmart, we wouldn't have these giant scaling organizations that, you know, have the financial power to impact the world. You don't have that without scaling, and you can't scale without reinvestment. And it was really interesting comparison between, you know, the average high-level business professional can be the CEO of a nonprofit and make, you know, $89,000 a year. You know, the really big ones, you know, get into $200,000, something like that. Or they can just take their Ivy League MBA and, you know, go make $400,000 in the for-profit sector.
Right.
So what would you do?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've chased professional opportunities for money, and I've learned that it ain't all about the money, right? I've definitely learned that there has to be happiness professionally in whatever is done. So look, you ain't got to ask me what I do, because I work in education, and I promise you this. Education, at least at the level I'm at, it's not, the compensation is not in the upper echelons financially, but spiritually, mentally, for the things that I get to do, the people I get to work with, the outcomes that I see is priceless.
So assume that those three positions I just talked about, you can be a big wig in the business world, make $400,000. Right. You can be the CEO of a medical related nonprofit, which is, I believe, one of the examples that he gives, and make $200,000 a year. Right. Or you can be the CEO of some food related nonprofit trying to feed the hungry and make $89,000 a year. Assume you are equally happy and fulfilled in all three of those roles. So all things being equal, which role do you pick? Most people will pick the $400,000.
Yeah, they picking the money.
Which is the point, because all things being equal, more money.
More money.
So what's interesting is he said, you know, the guy giving this TED Talk talked about, so the individual picks the $400,000 job. Right. So now whoever the CEO, you know, they have to pick number 2 or number 3, or depending on the disparity between the amount of opportunity, right, maybe the 100th best CEO is now the CEO of the nonprofit. And that CEO is getting beat up every time they try to scale. Meanwhile, over here in the for-profit, they're reinvesting, and, you know, their company's scaling and their stock price goes up, and, you know, whatever the metric is, right, they're successful. And this other nonprofit CEO will just figure it out, you know, without investing. And he made a joke how the guy who picks the $400,000 can donate $100,000 a year to the nonprofit that he wanted to be the CEO of, probably be on the board and be the boss of the CEO who ended up being the CEO.
So it's a double win.
And nobody can figure out how all these donations are made every year, and we just can't fix anything.
Bruh.
So it was a really interesting point, and I'm not going to lie, I've watched a lot of TED Talks. You know, some of them are entertaining, some of them are enlightening. Because this hit me directly in my profession, it was eye-opening. And it was really, really interesting to check my own bias, you know, because it was it was an opinion I had until I watched that video.
I can say I used to have a similar opinion of stuff like that, right? There was a point in time when I had a similar opinion, but it changed, and I'll tell you what made it change for me was I remember this was during some time politically, and people were all up in arms about Planned Parenthood, and so they mentioned what the CEO, I'm not sure if she's called the CEO, whatever her title is, president of Planned Parenthood, whatever situation was, and she, if I remember right, she made $600,000 a year. Now I'm thinking in my own mind, like people are thinking, well, all this money, Planned Parenthood already catches hell for being Planned Parenthood, right? But, and I'm not even gonna go down that path.
Me neither.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
No thanks.
I
got you. Yep.
Yeah, just because that's the one I could think of off the top of my head. I'm thinking for a national organization, right? Planned Parenthood's huge, and there's a lot of stuff that particular president has to deal with on a national level. I was thinking, wow, that's not a lot of compensation in the big scheme of things.
If you compare it to a for-profit counterpart with similar stress level and responsibility.
Absolutely. Just on the comparison issue, that's small. You know?
So that's basically what we're doing as a society is the societal expectation is that the best and the brightest are willing to sacrifice their, professional compensation, whether that's how they tie it to their success or not. Most business people do, because business is about dollars. And, are you expecting the best and the brightest to make that sacrifice, every single time? Is that rational?
We're a capitalistic based society. So
it ain't going to happen.
Right. So it ain't rational.
Right. So that's the point. And, I would encourage people to, just kind of think about it. I'm not telling you how to think, think about it. If you think that's the way it should be, then that's the way it should be. That's cool. But I thought it was eye opening, and I would encourage anybody to check it out and just think about it.
Yeah. It is a thing, I would like to say, we, in so many ways, societally, we don't want our government to take care of these things, right?
Sure.
Because we don't want it tied to our taxes and stuff.
Sure.
Right?
Because we can't agree on where the money should go.
Right. And that being said, a lot of times people fall back and say, well, it should come out of donations and blah, 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 this and that. But if we don't address these things and don't have competent people to lead these organizations, which it costs money.
Who are allowed to lead in an impactful scaling manner.
Yes. Facts. Then you're actually contradicting. Maybe even being a little hypocritical.
Facts.
Just saying. All right. Hey, I like that, man. That was deep. It's something that, I'm not going to say it's on the forefront of my mind, but it's something I've thought about, but not more recently. But you saying it right here, right now, most definitely. To keep it simple and put it in the most American way possible, you get what you pay for.
Facts.
Bruh.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add on there?
No, I think we're good on that.
Okay, we good on that. Okay, well, this is the part.
Keep supporting your nonprofits, whatever you're passionate about, folks.
Yes, most definitely. Please do find a way to. I'm big on we are all in this together. We are American citizenry, and if you aren't a citizen, you are still part of our society.
You're in the boat.
You with us. And we gotta take care of each other. I can't stress that enough. That is so important to me. Gotta take care of each other on the different levels. All right. Well, this is the part of the show where I said, hey, look, you got an opportunity. I appreciate everybody. Once again, I get good feedback. I read every email. I read every message that comes in. I appreciate any advice anyone has to say. Feel free to email us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that is askthekosh@gmail.com. If you'd like to be a guest, I love to hear from you. The point of the show is to show the different voices connected to the Kosh. So I'm not one to turn one away. I'm all about that life. Let's have a conversation. Reach out. All right. Time in the show for the shout outs. I love the shout outs, man.
Me too.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now that before the show started, Zach said, don't play no crickets on me.
Yeah, you better not do crickets. And what did he just do? What did he just do?
I got the crickets.
In broad daylight.
Hey, things happen, man. Things happen. All right. So what you got for shout outs over there, Zach?
I actually, because I kind of hit on, the individual donors are in my hero's corner. So my shout outs, I wanted to give a shout out to the foundations, the big players in the nonprofit space. The individual donors provide the fuel, to get to the destination. But the foundations that exist to support nonprofits, they provide a lot of, not just financial support.
Right.
They do a lot of coaching. A lot of them provide actual professional, development. And there's just a lot of ways that, they support not just the council's mission, but other nonprofits in the area. And it's something that I was not aware of until I became professionally involved in the space, just how much assistance is provided. And it's not just local foundations. There are large nationwide foundations that are, donating money in your local area. And I don't think it's publicized enough. We recently, the council did a food card drive for veterans in need. And some of the big donors for that initiative was the Woodruff Foundation, which is in Appleton, but it was enabled also by the Craig Newmark Foundation, the Craigslist guy.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it's something that you probably never would have heard about that if I didn't just say it. And that's part of my role at the council is trying to let people know just how much support there is in our community for these initiatives. So my shout outs are for both local and nationwide foundations that are doing the good work.
Hey, I so appreciate that. I've been lucky enough to partner with some pretty good organizations around here that have supported our veterans and our student veterans in particular in various different ways. Most definitely appreciate y'all. And I hope that even in these most challenging times, and in my sake, I'd even like to give a more particular shout out to our businesses, our local businesses associated with the Kosh. Every time that our student veterans have ever knocked on your door and asked y'all for a sponsorship or those things, there's not a whole lot of no's. And right now I know that there's some financial challenges out there to the businesses, and I'm going to be honest, we're trying to be respectful. We're trying to not ask at this point, but don't fool yourselves. We're going to be back. We're going to give a little time to let things get back to normal, and then let's get back to the things.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. So we are at the last part of the show. It is the parting words of wisdom. Zach, what you got for parting words of wisdoms for the Kosh listeners?
My words of wisdom are from, it's a quote that I have online. I don't know where I found it online. I apologize for whoever's quote this is. I am unable at this time to give proper credit. but it's something that it really resonates with me. And now, being a professional in the nonprofit space, it kind of rings true. But the words of wisdom I have are, if you are more fortunate than others, build a longer table and not a taller fence.
Bruh.
I'm feeling that. Yeah, that's appropriate. All right. Well, we've come to the end of the Kosh. I just want to say, Zach, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, no, thank you for doing this. We appreciate you. We appreciate the work you do. And to all the Kosh listeners out there, appreciate y'all tuning in once again. To the next time, next week, the Kosh.